Much. Question for you, real quick. So you are a professional in the industry,
Yes, I am.
and
To a degree.
and here you are, involved in a web series of far lower fame, if you will, than what you're used to working on. Why did you come here to do this project? What got you to commit to this project?
I'll be honest with you, I like the idea of people taking matters in their own hands. Like, you can go out, unfortunately, like I did. I had a show I wanted to pitch. I did a film back in 2002 and shot it in 2003. Spent about a year in post, and we finally sold it. It's called Guarding the Realm. And it was heartache, pain, suffering, but we finally got it out there and we sold it. And then we turned around and tried to do it again. It's just all the work and labor you try to go into get financing and money. Now with the digital age, with technology, editing systems, cameras, you don't need people's money. Just you can do it yourself. And when I started seeing the stuff that what John was doing for Danger, I'm like going, this is the way for the future. This is what you need to be doing. Stop kissing the studios. Quit trying to get financing. Quit wasting time. Make your own product. And as soon as I saw somebody doing, I won't lie, I was envious. I was like, look at this guy. What's stopping him? What's stopping me? I have no excuse. Why am I going to show it up? Why am got a series out there? No excuse. And it inspired me. And on top of that, we started talking. I said, now I found myself. I want to be a part of it. Whatever I can do to help, I want to be a part of it.
That's awesome. That's amazing. That's fantastic.
And it just So that was the big step right there. That's the wave of the future.
So in watching The Danger Element, what has been your opinion of its aesthetic, of the effects that are there currently, those kinds of things?
First of all, the guys are insane. Ludicrous. Insane.
In what way?
It just some of the stuff you guys are pulling up. I love the idea that if you were to break this down in script form and come to me as an effects guy, I'd be like, holy crap! Why don't you guys shoot some parameters you can actually make a movie? But you guys, I like the idea that you don't limit yourselves. You have an idea, you have a concept, and you just shoot for it. How are you going to do it? You'll cross that bridge when you get to it, and that shows. And because whatever it is, you delivered. And I think what's kind of exciting for me was that John was telling me that there's a character in the script that he liked, but he really had any idea how to do it, so he's going to cut it from the script. He goes, well, I'll tell you what, we were discussing the car on our way over here. He said, I'll write to Ted, see what he thinks. Hey, I got this. I'm like, dude, I'm aboard. Cyborg with a machine gun arm and a cannon in the other, and he's powered by gasoline? That's insane. I'm aboard. So,
how did you get in touch with John Soares, or how did he get in touch with you?
Product placement, Facebook. But actually, I saw. I think it was on Facebook, but he had something posted on his Facebook, like my latest episode or whatnot, and I think I saw episode 2 or 3. And I watched one, and I was like, wow, what's this? And so I had to, of course, regress and went back to watch episode 1. Episode 1 hooked me, because it went from the crazy fight, which I want to say kudos to John, because he knows how to shoot a fight scene. And I can tell that guy loves martial art movies. He eats and sleeps martial art movies. He knows how to fight. He knows how to shoot a fight. He knows that. Although I'm envious because you guys will watch my movie tonight, I have fighting in my film, and I kept it kind of broad and wide because I wanted to show off the action. But John has a sense of like, he shows the acting, but for the kicks and moves, once again, big Chinese thing, when you do a down punch, you kind of bring it down, or an up kick, you kind of swing the camera a little bit. You feel the moves with the camera, and he gets in a little bit tighter. And his fights are a little bit more intimate. That I was a little jealous of, because I wanted my fights to be more intimate, but they weren't as intimate. They're good, but not as intimate as the fights.
So let's go down that vein for a little while. What do you do in your craft to make your props, make your effects more organic?
It's kind of funny because I work for a prop house right now. I work for a professional house, and I kind of fell into that job, as I call it, golden handcuffs. Because I was freelance for like 15 years of my life. And I went and shot my movie, and when the film was over with, I was like, hey, I'm broke, and I needed a job. And prior to that, I was doing creature effects. I was doing the Xena stuff and monster suits and costumes.
Right.
And in the makeup industry, not bad-mouthing people, it's just there's a lot of ego involved. and there's not so much team effort so much as like me, I sculpting, I do this, I oversee this monster, and everybody has a way of how they want you to do certain things, and just kind of like, it kind of stifles your creativity to a degree.
Did you have Coke too?
So I was like,
do
do I want to go back into creature effects? And so I decided I want to do something different. So I found there was a prop shop. And so, of course, in my book, I had a lot of like costumes and props. I mean, costumes and miniatures and things that don't really pertain to the prop world. So I show up with my portfolio, which I put like 7 years of my life making. This prop guy goes, yeah. Yeah, don't call us. We'll call you Ted.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Do, 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 do. Oh, Charlie Brown music. So anyway,
I got the reference.
yeah, thank you. And then I was dating myself there. I literally go home, and it turns out they got slammed. Luckily, they got slammed. They have TV. They do TVs and movies, and they were up to their eyeballs in work. They just need a second set of hands. So they call me back later that week and say, Ted, can you come in? I go, when do I start? Tomorrow? So great. I show up, and they would just kind of throwing stuff at me. Like, and this is what, I'm not kidding, this is how descriptive they would get. They'd give me a guitar, a really nice guitar, an acoustic guitar. Ted, we need you to cut the back of it off, like a 1/16 of an inch all the way around, and put a hinge on it, and put foam in there, and make an insert for a laptop computer, this one right here. And yeah, they walk off. I'm like, okay. So I take the drill, and doing all this stuff, make sure I'm doing it clean quickly. And they give me a laptop, and I realized the front is hollow, so I put a piece of black felt, put a step off on it, so it looks like it's hollow, but it's not really hollow. You know, so I can hide the foam inside of it. Get down. But turned out that was for Alias. Wow. But again, she didn't know that. Out the door. Like, hey Ted, do this. Oh wait, we have the scepter. We need a foam thing, the same thing like that. So, okay, so I cut it. Oh, it has to have red felt in it too. So I cut it, foam, give it the scepter. I think it was about a year later I found out it was for dodgeball. Wow. The big scepter at the end, they pull out the case.
Yeah.
You ready for this? Did you ever see the case? No! They cut it out of the film. But next thing you know, they start throwing stuff at me left and right, left and right, left and right. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. I'm like, I'm kind of here a lot. And I've come from like freelancing 15 years of my life, and I kind of like the bohemian lifestyle, having time off, and you come back. And so I go to my boss like, you guys still need me? He's like, why, you going somewhere? No. Next thing you know, I've been there for 6 years now.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And that's what I do. And the thing that's so funny is that we do big budget premiere shows and movies out the wazoo, and I don't get one lick of credit. Any of the stuff we do.
Because it's a house.
Well, because it's the house. The house.
gets the credit.
But even the house doesn't get credit. The prop master comes to us, gets the credit.
So, how many years then have you been in the visual effects industry?
22. Can I tell you my big claims to fame? My favorite one is Fifth Element. I did the flying cab, the miniature one, miniature flying cab. And they had the practical one with myself and Michael Dennis. There's two guys, myself and Michael Dennis, and our job was the flying cab. And here's a funny Hollywood story. They were shooting principal photography in England while we were building the miniatures in Los Angeles at Digital Domain, which is by Venice Beach. And we were cranking that show out, and they were looking at the blueprints. And luckily, our model shop supervisor, Leslie Eckert, went to England and photographed the model. And so he came up with these beautiful pictures. And so we kind of started on it already.
Sure.
As we got the pictures, I'm like, this doesn't look like the blueprints at all. This is kind of weird, you know? So we call the guys in England and go, hey, we're looking at the blueprint. Like, oh, yeah, we didn't really follow the blueprints. We just kind of were like making it kind of like, okay, well, it looked cool, but they didn't end up looking cool. So we ended up building it from the pictures. So luckily, we just took the model, looked at it, and once again, my model shop supervisor, Leslie Eckert, being a model maker, knew how to photograph everything, like pow, different angles with a ruler, and so we got all the dimensions, and so we built the flying cab. And here's a funny story. Quick shot, you barely see in the movie. When Lilu falls in and puts a hole in the cab, I had to reproduce that, so we had to make a hole in the cab, so because they had a shot of all the cop cars surrounding the cab. Right. It's an aerial above shot. So I had to make the cab with the folded-in roof on it, And they said, oh, we can see in there. So we take a Barbie doll and we made it up like Lilu. We put her in there, all hunkered down, and we put him in there. And I tell you what, all this work, and they're like, oh, we want this, I want this. It's anal as hell. We put all this crap. We put a cockpit in there in detail. When you watch that movie, tell me how much you see in that how much you see in that hole. Like 1,000, 2, but gone. There it is. But that was fun. And Starship Troopers and Contact. You know what? Here's the thing with Hollywood that I happens to me a lot is that your relationship with a show, you get attached. It's like if you work with some bad person, you have a bad run, you're just like, oh, that show. You roll your eyes like, ugh. And Fifth Element was one of those shows to where I was kind of like, ugh. 7 months we're on that show. 7 months. We built all the city, all that city. No, that's not digital. That's all big models.
Oh, that's awesome.
All the New York City. Those things are like 20 feet tall. Buildings over 20 feet tall, and they're huge models. And if you guys have it on DVD, I'll freeze frame some stuff for you to point out stuff you'll never see. But very by the time it was all said and done, I was kind of like, I was over it. And it wasn't until on HBO, a couple of years later, I'm sitting home on HBO and I was watching like, that's a good movie. All the pain healed, you know.
Yeah.
Contact, same thing with Contact. I was kind of like, whatever. Wasn't that emotionally involved. I was getting better about like leaving it alone. So we knocking stuff out. We built this giant, her pod, the travel pod she has. We built 2 scales up. We built a giant one because they're gonna have a shot of it dropping in the water. This whole scene they shot, they cut out of the film, where it drops in the water and you see it hitting the water, and they basically grab it and fish it out and bring it up and they open it up and they crack it open and she's kind of like, oh, how long have I been gone? Like, what? So that was, but we built a lot of stuff, and that's what happens in my business. You build a lot of stuff that you never get to see. Never.
So you've done all these like major films. You've had some incredible milestones in your career, and this is going to sound similar to my previous question, but so you get invited to do the Danger Element. What made you say yes?
Because it's awesome. It's like, here's the thing. Danger Element brings back to what, okay, not to sound like an old dog, but this is what happens. I love the industry. I got into it, and I started off on low budget films. They were great. Fly by night. Oh my God, we need this by tomorrow. Oh, you're making stuff, and you show up on set. They're so happy you have anything. Here it is. That's great. They take it out of your hand and start shooting with it immediately, you know. And then on low budget show, they have no money, so you're kind of like being creative to pull things out of the fire. And the more time we progressed, the bigger up the ladder I went. I was doing miniatures, and of course CGI was coming in. I dodged that bullet. I got out of that. Started getting creature effects, and you start making stuff, and it becomes less appreciative. They're throwing so much money at you that when they give it to you, like, oh, that's I thought it'd be bigger, or oh, really? How much you charging for that? Like, dude, you kidding me? This thing's amazing. Next thing you know, I turn to a barrel. I'm like, ugh, job, punch a card, come in, come out. And now with the digital age, and I see people like you guys doing like fun, creative stuff, I said, that's it. That's where I started. That's where I came from. And I want to get back to that. I want to get back to having fun again. And I said, it's because I work on big shows. There's the passion's kind of lost out of it. And for me, to do this is like, it's really fired me up, because also too selfish motivation for myself is I'm getting ready to do my own web series, and just the idea of doing this and then showing up with you guys in the short span of time I get here, already you guys are making movies on your laptop of something you shot 5 minutes ago, and you're kind of together and you're doing blood spatters and gunfires. I'm like going, oh my God, I have got to catch up. I have got to catch up with these kids. And so, that is why you guys are bringing me back to what got me into it in the first place, because I was you when I was your age. I was, I'm 48 old, but I was the same thing. But I was Super 8. There was no digital. There was Super 8. I had Super 8. I cut stuff with tape, with film, and then we'd shoot miniatures and stuff. Saw Star Wars.
Right.
So that's why. To answer your question, that is why I, Ted Smith, come here to do Danger Element, because this is bringing me back to the roots of why I like making films.
That's a fantastic answer.
Alone again. Always alone. If I help you get the danger element back, you're going to help me save my father.
Your father's dead.
Not for long.